Going on, Corso family? This is Saladin Salon for King Corso, Conor Depressor, and Neapolitan Mastino Historical Talk. Hopefully, y'all having a lovely day. I'm going to give a topic about the difference between Italian Corsos and American Corsos, because I know it's a big misconception. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of lies that are being told. So basically, hopefully, I can put this thing in the proper perspective, right? Now, on some real stuff, to be honest with you, there's really no major difference, man. There's no major difference. There's no major difference. The only difference is where the Corso is in bloodlines. I'm going to say that again. The only difference is in the Corso or bloodlines. There's no such thing as an American Corso. Corsos are an Italian breed. Now, the misconception or the confusion became with a few enthusiasts that lied. And again, a lot of you should do a lot of research to find out that if the enthusiast is telling you something, for it to be actual fact, on some real stuff, you need to study. I say this 101 times, and I'm always going to advocate that. You should study. But all right, nevertheless, though, let me tell you the origin of both dogs, supposedly of both dogs. Now, since, like I said, that we do know that the Corso is the Corso, the Neo, Conor Depressor, and other names of the dog for the same breed, were the same dogs in Italy for centuries. Like on some real stuff, it depends on where did you live at. Is the name of the dog was called on some real stuff. Just like down south. All right, give you another legit of what I'm talking about. Like American Bulldogs, right? You know, you got back in the day, a lot of people talking about what these American Bulldogs. Well, they were called white English whites, Hill Bulldogs, Pit Bulldogs, etc. You know what I'm saying? Listen, they were called many names down south. Many names. It depends on what part of the south you was from. That's what the dog was called. Same thing with Italy. It depends on what part of Italy you lived in. Is what the dog was called. Now, there was a few enthusiasts that got into the breeds that decided to change the breeds for the worse. Like on some real stuff. Now, they kind of lost their way. Now, Perio Scandisi was one. He started off with Conor Depressor, Corso. And then the people in Naples, the farmers in Naples decided that, listen, it should be called Neapolitan Mastiff because this is what you're trying to produce, the traditional Neo or the traditional dog of Italy, and it's a Mastiff, and it should be called, the Neapolitan, because he was going to call it a Malossola, Italy Malossola or something like that, to that effect. But regardless the point, though, like I said, other breeds were added to the dog, which is common. It's common knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Not just the English Mastiff. Other breeds came into the dog as well. Alter the dogs for eternally. Because today's Neo doesn't reflect the traditional Neos. Today, Neapolitans are not traditionally sound. They're not the reflection of the dogs of the past. Now, the King Corso, in other words, he still is, but there's different expressions of him. And the reason being, because in the 60s, not the 60s, excuse me, the 70s, not even the 70s, I'm going to say the late 80s and 90s, Sachs decided to change the dog. They lied about the history aspect of the dog. We just recently found out by historians like Flavio Bruno, there's other dog enthusiasts that actually try to give you the true essence of what happened, because there's a lot of stories out there, and if you don't catch on with the word semantics on the aspect of the different name game that a lot of Italian enthusiasts play, you'll get confused, and you'll be totally confused. So that's why I said on the aspect of the history aspect, it should be taught, it should be known. If you're breeding these dogs, you should be able to break down the history from back in the 19th century to the present. You should be able to break that whole situation down to me. You should be able to break that down. Most of you won't be able to because you don't know. You ain't going to study. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get that secondhand information. You're going to pass that thing off and it is what it is. But we gonna raise the bar, or the quotum, so to speak. We gonna raise the bar. So you gonna have to step your whole situation and your game up. For real, for real. But anyway, nevertheless though, getting back to what I was saying, again, no difference. Only in bloodlines. So let me break that down. Now, the Sicily family got the foundation dogs. That's Kokomo, Tori, Malosia, Santino, Doro, and there's some other dogs. Because it was like 13 puppies that survived. Those are true kind of depressors. They came over here in the Americas, right? And there was 13 pups. And these pups were bred to the Sicily family Neapolitan Masters. Some of them. At least the traditional looking ones. They all were show dogs, but then even show Neos and stuff like that. If you do history aspect on Neos, Neapolitans came in different sizes and varieties because they were trying to, like I said, at the end of the day, when you're trying to make a breed and trying to breed for a standard and the dogs are pretty mixed up, you're going to get different varieties and stuff. This is what's going on with your corsos today. But let me do some explaining. But all right. So, like I said, he bred the more traditional looking kind of, the show Neos into his kind of depressors. So, what ended up happening is that it was what it was. This is your foundation stock here in America. Now, are the American dogs an American breed? No, they're not. Foundation dogs, again, came from Sicily. Sicily is a part of Italy. It's an Italian breed. Mike's dad is a spokesperson for Saks here in America. He was the president. Mike's dad, his name is Mike because it's Mike Sr. and Mike Jr. But anyway, Mike's dad was also the spokesperson for the Neapolitan Mastiff here in America. So, he was calling the dogs Pashero and then flipped it over and called it a corso. But it was a corso. Same damn dog. Same dog. A lot of people say, no, I beg to differ. It's not. They are. Absolutely they are. I can show and prove that. I can back that. But anyway, you have, like I said, the word semantic situation. But all right, what was done was done. Now, Mike's dad and his wife Kathy end up getting a divorce. So they went their own separate ways. Kathy ended up taking the kennel Masterpiece in the divorce process. So she ended up owning Masterpiece. She had a few corsos, which was the kind of depressors, a few Neos, and then she decided also, because Mike was taking care of his father, because after the divorce situation, Mike's father became ill. So Mike's taking care of his dad. Mike had a breeding program, and his breeding program actually was some band dogs, some catch dogs that he had, because Mike also, his family bred back in the day some pit bulls. Mike got into some American bulldogs, and he had a catch dog program. So Kathy took the catch dog program, some dogs, and she bred that with the corso. With Masterpiece kennels. Masterpiece kennels wasn't in circulation for a long time. And it was only like 1 or 2 dogs that was probably that half and half cross with the band dog stuff I'm talking about that was put into the gene pool. Very small amount. Very small amount. So, time went on. We're going to go to the 95. And in 95, like on some real stuff, Mike Jr. had a friend, and his friend came into a financial problem. So he asked Mike to help him out. Mike's friend bred champion Rottweilers, and he also bred corsos. Now, he didn't breed to the public. So this guy had some band dog puppies. You know, his corsos bred with his Rottweilers, and he wanted to sell some dogs off. So Mike called some enthusiasts up, because he was still, you know, real friendly or cool with some enthusiasts that he has problems with now. But regardless the point, he called these guys up, told these guys that he had some band dog puppies. These guys went over and they bought dogs. Now, the dogs they bought weren't black and tan. They were fawn dogs. Fawn. So anyway, the dogs were bred into the corso lines. Now, I'm going to go back a little bit. Mike, when the corsos were starting to become very popular here, they went back to Italy, like in the early 90s, 91, 92, 92. And they brought dogs from Fagler or Pugler back here to America. That was Leone, and that was Zach, and I think a few females. But anyway, they bred these dogs. The dogs wasn't in good quality, so to speak. Zach was a huge dog, though. Zach was a huge dog. Zach came out of Pugler, Fagler. Zach was 160 pounds. So that's showing you that, you know, these other enthusiasts that jump up and say that the Italian dogs were small dogs. That is not the truth. That is not the truth. It depends on what bloodlines you're getting your dogs from. But anyway, all right. So, again, hold on, where was I? He bred these dogs. He brought other enthusiasts to Italy. And then Mike's dad turned terminally ill and wasn't running registries and etc. no more. ICCF was born. And kind of the rest is history. Mike Jr., he just didn't, he bred, but he wasn't breeding mainstream no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, these other enthusiasts, they took off in the directions that they took off. Some people are still breeding, some people are not breeding no more. And it is what it is. But again, this is what the American dogs is based upon. That's basically the history I'm just giving you. And again, not a bad history. Because in Italy, don't get it misconstrued. Like, just how the dogs were being bred over here, is how they were being bred over there in Italy too. So, you know, you got dudes that be talking about, well, yo, the American dogs is mixed. Not to the point how they were bred in Italy, though. When I say that, I mean they were really mixed. This is why there's such a variety now in the mainstream dogs. This is why you're not going to get a phenotype and you're not going to leave a mark breeding that mainstream stuff over in Italy. Like, you're not. It's just not going to happen because they mix the dogs so much over there. Now, a lot of people, again, didn't know about what a rustic dog was, what one should look like, how one should behave, the movement, etc. All this stuff progressively is being learned. And even to the day, because you got a lot of enthusiasts, some, not everybody, but some. A lot of people just don't know. Hold up.